So, Simon, the three matches that you lost and then the brilliant recovery last week, was it an attitudinal little slump, or what did you put it down to, and how did you get out of it?
Yeah, look, we just didn't execute our method to the level that we would like to. And when we reviewed it as coaches and we sat down with the playing group, there was a bit around role execution, and we worked really hard to really tidy that up. And you could see once we had our method in check and the cohesion in check, the boys' ability to apply pressure, get the game looking the right way, and executing was to a high level, and we managed to hit the scoreboard on the back of some outstanding defensive work.
And will that be your forward look, do you think, for the rest of the season?
We'll continue to experiment at times, but clearly that mix on the weekend worked well for us. We had went a little bit smaller. We brought a little bit more speed into the team, and it seemed to work well for us in terms of the way we wanted to set the game up. But it'll be a bit of an experimentation over the next 4 or 5 weeks to really find what the best mix is, and obviously the best mix against certain opposition as well. So we'll continue to look at what that looks like from a week-to-week perspective. But from a sample from last week against the Lions, we thought that structure worked incredibly well.
Tom McDonald's still listed at 10 to 12 weeks. Is there any chance he comes back late in the season?
Tommy will be back. He's progressing really well. I'm not sure why he's listed at 10 to 12 weeks, but he's probably still another 6 or 7 weeks away. So he's certainly progressing to a really high level, and we're really hopeful that he'll come back and have a big impact for us in the back part of the year. And
how's Max tracking?
He's tracking well, the big fella. He's a hard man to keep down. He's pushing all the time. He's back training and doing his rehab to a high level. But he won't play this week. But he's looking like he'll be available the week after.
Are you happy with how Luke Jackson's going in his absence anyway?
Jacko?
Yeah.
Look, Jacko's game was great on the weekend. I thought he really stepped up, and I said this a lot. He's a different type of ruckman to Max, so he gives us a different look around the ball, and his follow up, his ability to impact at ground level was to a really high level. To have 9 tackles in a game of footy, and to have the impact certainly by hand that he has with his use. Certainly brings other players into the game. So they're different types of players, and he really stepped up in the absence of Max. There's no question about that.
Do you want him to do anything differently, Luke Jackson, that is, after watching him shoulder the ruck load for a lot more than usual?
In what regard?
So is there anything you'd like him to improve on in that role, or is it exactly what you asked of him?
Look, we just want Luke to be Luke. He is a unique player. He plays the game a different way. He's a disruptor around contest areas. He follow up at contest areas, and his aerial continues to improve. But ultimately, Jacko's got the skill set to do some really dynamic stuff in the game, and we just want him to be him and continue to improve his game and be the best player he can be for the Melbourne Footy Club.
When do you expect he'll sign on the dotted line?
Hopefully soon. Look, we understand how this system works within the AFL environment. Luke's an incredibly talented player, and you watch how he plays. You can see how much joy and love he has for his club and his teammates. And he's played 50 games. He's been the rising star. He's picked 3. We're hopeful that we can sort that out in the not too distant future. But these things take time as well. We understand how the industry works, and we're really hopeful and that Luke will be a part of the Melbourne Footy Club for a long time to come.
Has he given you any indication at all, or where does it sit in terms of your conversations with Luke?
Oh no, Luke's just going through a process with his management and the club, and looking at all his various options. He's a young player. He's in his 3rd season of AFL footy, and as I said, he's an incredibly talented player. He's picked 3 in the draft. He's played 50 games. He's been involved in a premiership. So this will play out in its due course. And as I said, we're really hopeful, based on Luke's attitude towards his footy club and his team, that he'll want to be a part of the Melbourne Footy Club for a long time to come. So there's no rush to get this answer out of Luke. He needs time to make his decision, and we'll give him the time he needs.
And just on the contracts, Gus, is that same as, or is there a bit of a difference given his seniority within the group?
No, very similar. Gus, we've had some really open discussions. He loves his footy club. He's a free agent. This is how our industry works now, and we're actually really hopeful that one will progress really quickly, and Gus will be a part of our footy club for a long time to come. So, when you're a foundation player of a footy club like Gus has been in terms of where we've come from as a footy club, he's been a big part of driving our culture, driving our club forward. We want to make sure that he's here for the long haul and be a part of everything that we have moving forward.
And when you say you're hoping it will progress quickly, has that been a change in dialogue with him in the last little bit, or is that just your relationship with him telling you that?
Oh no, it's just what I'd like to see. But he's going through a process himself. He's got some big decisions to make about. He's at that age now where you're at that time where you can be a one club player, you can just have a little look around. And Gus is a free agent, and that's how our industry works. But what I do know about Gus, he's put a lot into this footy club, and he's very passionate about it, and hopefully he'll be here for a long time.
The conventional wisdom is you might have to lose one because of the talent in your squad. Is that true at the end of the year?
No, that's certainly not been our discussions at all. So I don't know where that conventional wisdom comes from. But, we manage our players, we manage our list, and we'll make those decisions at the right time.
James Harms was really good last week in limiting Lachie Neale. Do you think we'll see him do something similar this weekend with a Rory Laird or even a Jordan Dawson?
Yeah, look, that's something that we did last week. We don't do it very often, and obviously Lachie Neale is an unbelievably talented player and has a massive impact on games. So we'll sit down tomorrow as a coaching group, look at our strategy going forward into this game. But that is something we have got up our sleeve, but it's not something that we'll do every week, and we'll make that a week-to-week decision on that. But there's no doubt that Harmsy's got that ability, and it's worked for us on the weekend. But as I said, we'll have that discussion tomorrow.
You've previously mentioned that you'd like to reward strong form at VFL level. Mitch Brown, another 6 goals in the VFL. Does he get considered this week?
Yeah, he does. Outstanding performance. It wasn't just 6. He had 12 shots a goal, kicked 6 goals, 6. So I was rapt for Mitch. He played 2 games in the AFL. Probably wasn't quite to the level that Mitch would have liked. And he's gone back to VFL level and had 12 shots a goal. So he definitely keeps himself in calculations for selection. There's no doubt about that. And we'll continue to reward players that are in outstanding form. And Mitch is one of those at the moment.
And what do you think about the sort of the freeing up of the protected zones?
Oh, look, I think it makes sense. I think when something makes sense, it's something they should implement pretty quickly. And, once again, kudos to the AFL to bring that in straight away. If people are going to try and manipulate the rule and get an advantage out of it and it doesn't make the game better, then get rid of it. So I think common sense has prevailed on this one.
Just on the Crows, Simon, they beat you there last year. They had a good win last week. What do you make of that challenge?
Yeah, it's a tough place to win, Adelaide. And obviously coming from Adelaide and being involved with that footy club for a long period of time, I know how proud they are to play on their home ground. And it's going to be a tough place to win. We learnt the hard way last year in a really offensive type of game of footy. When they get the game looking the way they want and they get their crowd involved, they're a hard team to play against. So we've taken some learnings from that in terms of how we take on Adelaide Oval and how we take on the Adelaide Footy Club, and we're looking forward to that challenge. It's another one that we just need to go over and present ourselves in the right way and get the job done.